folks, welcome back for another episode of Our Journeys, and we're starting off the fresh game after about 4 missteps where we just queued into a bunch of games that were pretty much on the brink of ending. We've finally actually got ourselves in one that we can stick to for a little while. Beast of Burden 86, that was an example. We got nipped by Beast of Burden. We showed up and we got a mud crab, ankle snapper, pinch to the face. I might actually just show that just to lead things off with and then jump into this one, because those are just fun to... The mud crab fights fatality is always fun. But we are watching Neano. I believe the K is silent. Or Kinyayo. I'm pretty sure it's silent. But we see Battle of Chalman Keep. And this is a ladder game, folks. This is not an arena. These are not gold. These are normal colors here. And yeah, we are watching history in the making. I'm not sure. I'm very possible that this is a quest completion thing, but I don't even know. It would have to be spawn X number of recruits, right? Because I think that's what this does. Yeah. So there is a quest. I know I've done it several times where, you know, summon X number of recruits. So maybe that's what Niano is doing. That one card is there just to enable that. But we'll see. This is. I want to make it a point to stop saying I've allowed myself to do that. I've gotten very, very lazy with it. And I hate the sound of it. I don't listen to myself often, but when I'm doing editing and things, I have to watch. And if I'm hearing myself say or more than once, if I'm grappling with a really deep thought, we're talking like, digging really deep into the gray matter. If I'm doing that and I say I can allow it. I can forgive myself for that. But not just in topic of conversation. I need to exercise my brain and just make it a point to stop. It's a bad habit. It's a bad habit that I can get out of. My brain is demanding that I say it right now, but I refuse. Boy, howdy. That's some unpleasantness. Luckily for Neano, he can bring back his... If he so desired, he could bring back his venom tongue and do a little squishy squish on Odaving. Be interested to see what he decides to keep here. Okay, so he's going to go Fighters Guild. Maybe he's going to try to guard first and then squish if that fails. Not entirely sure. We'll see. Half the fun is just trying to figure out what the heck is going on and why. And it looks like he just wants cards right now. He's just saying, hit my face! And Wheeler obliges.
The hist shall heal you.
I think Battle of Chalmarn or Kalmarn. Is it Kalmarn? What did I say? Yeah, Kalmarn Keep. I think that's a great card to play in conjunction with Night Mother, actually. It's a great way to get a bunch of kills with that. Alright, so we chose not to use the Venom Tongue for that. Don't get rid of Battle. Don't get rid of Battle. He did not get rid of Battle. Okay. So neither one of them, his opponent really, the engineer, is not starved for cards, so this is... But, as I've said many, many times, as Scout, as any... control deck... Once you smite the face once, you will smite the face many, many times. You will not stop smiting the face, I guess is my point. So the problem now is, he has no squish. He has no way to destroy Odaving. And now you don't want to be taking that extra damage. Now you decidedly would like... So he's just going to get a guard down there? Or is he going to go camel? He goes camel. And there we go. Quicksilver crossbow and Odd Velocity Assassin. Velocity Assassin. Can get the job done. And how? Although, if it was me playing against this opponent, my opponent would have another shout. Or would play Parthenax and get another shout. And bring back Odaving yet again. Okay. Drain Vitality. So definitely just Shout, Scout, classic, pretty much. So we should expect to be seeing lethal attempted via giant bat. That's kind of the MO of this kind of deck. So we'll see how it plays out. And just a heads up, folks, I think I am going to scale back production instead of doing 2 videos, one on Monday, one on Wednesday. I just think at this point, when I started, it was a dearth. I've said that many times. I like that word, dearth. It's kind of like Darth, but not quite. Darth Vader. Hey, Darth Vader. There's been a dearth. There was a dearth of content out there. It existed, but it was few and far between, and aside from like a few streamers on Twitch, really kind of at a rarity. But now it's almost an embarrassment of riches. We just have so many more folks doing it, and I would like to personally just pour a little more mirth into like a Monday. So kind of bookend the week. Roll into the week with a nice robust TESL game. Bada bing. His own Oda Ving. I can't think of anything to rhyme with Oda Ving at the moment that would be apropos, which is sad. Because there's a lot that rhymes with Oda Ving. I was going to say make him sing, but yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that rhymes and technically works, but it's clear that whoever made that rhyme didn't actually. Oh, Ulier, no, why? I mean, I'm not going to pretend like this was going to be something fresh, but I mean, Classic Scout obviously did not have Midnight Burial, and also don't think it had Alduin. So here we go. Yeah, Alduin. Woo. Yeah. Nah. What are you gonna do? But I also had loosely, I didn't make a promise, but I loosely mentioned maybe I was gonna try to push for Legend again. And as it turns out, that kind of that's gonna stick. That there's some folks that would like to see me try to go Legend again, and so next month, starting October, fresh-eyed, clear-eyed, bushy-tailed. There's something to do with the bushy tail and being fresh-eyed. I'm guessing Nano had a master plan in mind with those cards, with that particular card, the reason why it was included. But as we see here, it is not going to stop lethal. And so Ulier, doing nothing inventive, nothing amazing, nothing even remotely approaching respectable, gets a win over our friend here. I was hoping to be able to congratulate him on a win. He was playing it pretty well, but he can only do so much against the greed and the nuisance and all of that. I'm not looking forward to facing that on the ladder. It's one thing to observe it. It's another thing to actually have to come across it and face it. Ice Baron. Just kidding. I had a feeling. So we got some folks playing. All right, Raxon, here we go. We got some folks playing, but, well, there's some folks in the game. We got 14 people in the game right now out of 127, so not a whole lot. And not too many people play. Platinum Bandicoot. There we go. That's a name I have come to recognize. Not an official friend necessarily, or somebody that I'm acquainted with, but I've seen him enough. And if I recall correctly, an upstanding player. Somebody who's fun to watch playing. Looks like mid-range sorcerer, so I'm totally down. And of course, Raxon is running a version of Ebonheart, but I don't know that it's great Ebonheart necessarily. Grummite is in the mix, the most deformed and ridiculous-looking character in all of TESL. You can challenge me on that, by the way. If you can think of another character, another, I want to go and just rate, like if you can just find a one-of character who looks like life is just crap, like Grummite Magus looks, or I'm just saying the Grummites in general look the way I feel the game treats me sometimes. Anybody else get that vibe? That you feel like you're getting Grummited? I get that feeling. I look at that Grummite and I go, that's how the game sees me. That's how I feel sometimes when I play TESL. I feel, that's my spirit animal. In TESL, There you go. Grummite is my spirit animal. It is the most grotesque and unhappy looking critter in modern media. Because there's some that looks scary. There's some that looks horrifying. But he just truly looks pathetic. And just like on the lowest end of... But I mean... Like, give feces, arms and a leg, and some semblance of a face, and you've got a Grummite, you know? Really, it's a travesty. Luckily, in real life, we don't have any such critters. We do have some very scary... I mean, he kind of has a face like an anglerfish. But we don't have any creatures entirely that exist like that. They would be horrifying. Truly, truly terrifying. All right, so here we have Platinum just kind of holding the line, giving Raxon a chance. And wow, no actions in Platinum's hand. He's got... We know he's got a steel sword, a steel dagger. There's lots of steel going there, but he's got 5 cards. I'm wondering if this is like an item. Well, no, I mean, we haven't seen anything that would indicate it's an item deck. I was going to say something where it's, you know, it's one of those things where you try to get a bunch of items and you play to draw, and you draw and you throw down and you do damage with the things. You know what I'm talking about. But I don't think that's it. Wow. Okay. Rank 12, Platinum Bandicoot, just not able to find anything in his hand that he wanted to play. That's interesting. And if I could remember who we just watched, I know it was an Ice Baron because it was Raxon. So I guess we'll go GG. But I don't know. I don't want it to feel hollow. You know, I want it to be genuine, but it's like, the guy just gave up. I don't know. I feel. I don't want to be sarcastic about it. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm like, hey, good game, but you know, it's one of those ones. My dad used to say this about player. Knock it off with the player with the ums. My dad used to say, so and so didn't win, the other guy just lost. And for a while, I thought that was just sour grapes growing up. But I've seen, oh no, Chandler Bing is in the wings, ready to sing. Hopefully there's no Odaving.
The Night Mother will guide us.
And there is some fresh altar fodder right there. He's going to spit out some of those, I think. He's going to end up spitting out. Oh no, he keeps Ungulum alive. And of course, a cruel fire blooming in. Why would I was about to say, oh, it sucks because now he has a cat's paw and is unable to kill it. But I forgot that you just cat's paw draw, it like just naturally pairs with cruel fire bloom. You almost never ever see a cat's paw played without her being able to be sacrificed in some way or another. That's just the way it is in Telvanni decks. And that's an interesting bit. So we may be in for a bit of a long haul here. We got Chanter of Akatosh hanging out, ready to do some stuff. Lots of ways to remove him, lots of ways to hurt him. Probably didn't want to play that Chandler right there. You kind of want to wait for a rune break, at least in my experience, but you gotta play what you got.
Your death will be swift.
Okay, hang on a second. Interesting. Seemed like the game audio had gone quiet on us there, but I think maybe the music had just died down. I'm not really sure. Oh no, cat's paw with another way to get it to draw those cards. Eesh. We didn't know how good we had it before cat's paw. I think Cruel Firebloom's always been around. I've always hated that card, but what are you gonna do? We'll see if Niano can turn this thing around. I mean, he's not really in a bad position per se, but just Telvanni with the fistful of cards. This could just be a very long game. And hopefully Niano's in for it. You know, I'm always happy to watch people who like to play control. I just ain't me. Lots of Vipers, nobody to Vipe. That's unfortunate. Oh, there you go. That's a smart call. Ice Storm, obviously, really not bueno. Okay, Chandler, Chanter, I should say. So now it was 2 Soul Tears, but I don't know that he's got anything in the discard that he really wants to bring back. Wait. Did he just get the
I do not fear.
discard banished? Oh, he did! Memory Wraithed! Okay, so yeah, that probably... I mean, that renders 3 of his cards completely worthless at this point. That's a powerful blow to a deck like this. So 2 Soul Tears and a Necromancer that can't do anything because ain't nothing dead. And they weren't raised to life, folks. Oh, there we go. I guess, okay, bring back a Viper. It's not the good kind. It's not the fun kind. It's the you never existed and you no longer exist in this plane of existence. Bye-bye. Horrible, horrible fate for a card. Yeah, I think as I was saying, I'm gonna... So, starting next month, and I will be... I don't know if I'll be streaming or just straight up playing, but just know that pretty much every minute that I play, I will be recording. So there is going to be more content next month, just because I'm going to be... For crying out loud. No, for crying out loud. There you go. Enjoy that sweet roll. Num num. Actually, that sounds really good. Really good. I really like that... Giggles! Hello, Giggles! Okay, not really needed. Just, man, just sitting on a bunch of unhappy cards. There's really not a lot he can do. It's kind of feels like he's in the same situation that Platinum Bandicoot was in our last game. I would imagine if he just had a hand like this, you just get tired of it. You're like, all right, you know what? This is going to go on forever, and I don't really have a way to close this thing out in a decent amount of time. We'll see. I mean, I could easily see this going, unless Zalamel is one of those pivoting control players who will, once he realizes that he's got an advantage, which, oh, I shouldn't say realizes, once he actually has an advantage, sees that he has a board advantage, has enough cards in hand, will actually strike the face, then we know we're in the end game. Because right now, Neano does not have the board or the hand to make that push himself. Razzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle, and this may be it. This may be Zalamel going for face. And it is, and so here we go. It's just gonna... Oh, and that... What a card for Zalamel to get off of Razzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle. Ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle. So we're probably going to see Conscription here. I would not be surprised.
This should help.
And Zalamel has the answer for that too. Your critters will not come down bigger than normal, he seems to say. Too bad he can't play Chandler and Tullius. Get like an Odaving or something off of that. Okay, still is going to get a little bit. Is going to get some life. Pretty much gets what you want to get out of a Conscription. Ooh, Flesh Astronaut and New Era. So if Zalamel cannot close it out this next turn, which I don't think he can, that's 9, 12, 14, 18, 21. He's just shy. And... yeah, I killed a 1/1, I think. A little orc over there on the left side with the peg leg. I've been trying to figure this out. Well, she's gone now, but if you look at that card, well, it's not there. Anyway, like, it's really weird. It's like kind of like kneeling in the snow, kind of, but up on its feet, but they're kind of like look like pegs. I don't know. It's a very weird. I'm probably just not seeing it right, but I mean, if Zalamel tries to play Conscription, I mean, either way, I think New Era is going to be the play here on the next turn.
Your blood will spill!
Drown in the river of battle.
That's a lot of shackling. It doesn't look like he's keen to go face, though.
By the power
Oh, he is. Okay. All right. So he's going to give Neano some cards. Luckily, did not. I mean, again, draw Tullius Conscription. Like these are good cards for his opponent to be picking up. But New Era is going to bail Neano out, and he can play some things after that as well. He could play Rising if he wanted to. Can't play Chanter. Oh, he went. Well, no, I don't think he's leveled up that much. Oh my gosh, is he kind of going face? He's not. Okay, so yeah, Zalamel going for the finisher and is going to suffer a new era, but he does have that conscription. His deck obviously isn't. Well, I wouldn't say obviously. His deck probably isn't built for conscription, but it doesn't mean that it can't do something. And so a new start or a new era is. Oh no, is he not going to play it? That's interesting. Oh no, I'm sure there was a reason for that, but I'm not entirely sure what it was. Maybe Sly.
Come here
Yeah.
alone.
Okay, no. So Zalamel actually his deck is geared for Tullia's conscription, so he just got a free one off of Neano.
I stand ready. You must be cleansed.
All right, denying the card draw. Card draw for me, but not for thee, he says with glee. And that's always a scary thing. Always get your pulse racing. Anytime a capable opponent is able to put whatever card they want to into their hand, you know you're in a bad spot. Could probably grab the lightning
They
bolt.
won't even see my blade coming.
And Neano with really no way to pull it out. I think he's dead next turn. I think Zalamel got himself some reach. And we are witnessing the end, the final play.
Believers shall flock to our noble cause.
I don't think he has any way to heal. Okay, not bad. Emperor's Blade. Ooh, Chandler Bing would be a nice one, but there's really no way to buff him. So he's not gonna. He wouldn't get a whole lot of value out of him healing for 4. But I mean, like I said, I do think I would be surprised if Zalamel does not have a lightning bolt in his hand. I feel like that would have been the prudent play, at least from where I'm sitting in my nice comfy chair. I do have armrest on it, so I can do the armchair quarterback thing where I can. Oh, Midnight Burial, eh? Giggles! Okay, well that will get him out of lightning bolt range. I mean, unfortunately Zalamel has far too much on the board to hold things off.
There is murder in the air.
Whodunit would have set him up nicely. He's run out of time. And the Chanter. Oh, well, nope, still just dead. Just out on board. So I don't know if you'll hit him with the lightning bolt that he pulled. If he did in fact pull lightning bolt, oh, he just pulled heist. Okay. Same difference. All right. Well, and that was the long game that we expected. Not as long as it might have been. Luckily, Zalamel is one of those players, control players, who is willing to win and not just wait for you to lose. Ooh, Jay Shades! Jay Shades! See him once in a million. He's like a unicorn. You see him once in a million years these days. Him and K Fluffy. You see him, it's like, ooh, let's get this. Let's see this. So he's got what probably is close to classic Battle Mage, I would imagine. Up against Erebus. More than likely, as we've seen, kind of Ebon Slay, Ebon Greed, however you want to think of it. Garnag is a good counter to that, as has been proffered by many pros. Garnag is the best card in the game. And he'll definitely be put to good effect here. Do we see a ring out of the Mighty Ally? I could see that into Relentless Raider and Ice Spike next turn for some considerable damage. Question though is, so for me, when I build my decks, if I have a Mighty Ally in there, or even a Cunning Ally, an ally of any kind. Oh, Jay Shades, no worries, man. No, hey. No, climbing is... Climbing is fine. We need a W here, though, so no pressure. That's like the worst thing to say to somebody. And especially in a game like this, where really no matter how much you want to, you can't guarantee a win. Anybody who says that that they're like, oh, so this is definitely Evansley. Anybody who can say, I guarantee I'm going to win this game of TESL is a bit silly, I would say. I wouldn't say a fool, but a bit silly. The likelihood of that actually panning out is pretty slim. So maybe we'll just see the Afflicted Alit. Save the Ice Spike for next turn. Nope. Do you see it here? And another Mighty Ally. A mighty fine ally, we might say. But yeah, usually if I'm going to play an ally of any kind, you're not going to see anything but like a... Ooh, that's no fun. That is no fun. Okay, that at least allows a trade, and can ring out the Mighty Ally for a replacement. That is good. Does not have to worry about the heals. Needs really... Oh, that's a risky thing. That's a risky proposition with Vipers being on the move in these kind of decks. We could see the Mighty Ally get bit in the butt. Okay, we do not. So Erebus is going to take some damage, is doing a lot of cycling. J-Shades is going to give him a lot of cards to cycle through. Ooh, and a Relentless Raider, a great top deck. That's very, very helpful here. We're going to see an extra 2 points of damage at least. Ooh, is that a Mummify? It's a guard. What is it? What do you got? What do you got? It is a guard. Okay. So that sucks. But Garnag can hit the board at some point, and he's going to go ahead and get some more value off that Relentless Raider.
Nicely done.
Garnag wouldn't be great. I mean, he's good as a 4/5 with Breakthrough, but he doesn't have. So yeah, he definitely would have gotten skewered there. So J-Shay's just looking for some of the reach. I'm sure he's got lightning bolts. We just at this point hoping to push the last 8 damage before Erebus. Hey, look at that. Okay, so we've got some veteran shenanigans going on here. I can get behind that. The douche. Not really going to be enough. Probably not going to be the play here. Just kidding. J-Shades likes to prove me wrong. And he does it very, very well. He proves me wrong on a regular basis. Oof. All right. Well, the veteran does not survive, so that's pretty good. Yeah. I'll just see what. Okay, there's some reach. There's a little bit to whittle him down even further. And there it is. There it is. So we get to see a dub. Exact lethal. See, you ask what you ask of J-Shades, you get. I asked for a win. He gave us a win. I appreciate that. Thank you for obliging me. Alrighty. Alright, let's see. Beast of Burden. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the way I edited it, you got to see him. I can but try. J-Shade says poetically. It's all any of us can do, really. But try. It's different than trying. But trying is. You can try and you can but try. And but try, as you might imagine, is requires a lot more effort.
They will meet their makers.
And Pan Cocolata playing some cards you don't really see that often. Now that one you do see. But the Daggerfall Mage, not necessarily ubiquitous with this kind of deck. And Beast of Burden, I mean, this is definitely what you would consider to be more or less like Burn. Burn Assassin. Just most cards that can do damage without really needing to interact with the board too much. Chargers are in there, but of course that's kind of the same thing. Unless your opponent throws down a guard, you're going to be able to smite them. There is that guard. Is that going to be enough? I don't think so. Not with the Flame Singer, Flame Singer, yeah. Okay. And Pan reads the writing on the wall and beats the burden there. Another fast game, but not quite as fast as the first one, so we did not get nipped on that particular outing. This episode is sponsored in small part by the Legendary Remnant Discord. If you have an interest in TESL and you want to talk to people about TESL, talk about custom cards that you may have on your mind, things that you would like to see in the game if it were ever to come back into prominence, and if you just want to talk about the state of the game, bemoan your losses, and get some props on some really good wins, share some decks, etc., and so on, please come to the Legendary Remnant Discord. If nothing else, you'll be able to meet other people that are also associated with other Discords that have to do with TESL, and so it's not really a hub per se. It was not designed to be a hub, but I think you'll find that if you come there, and the link is in the description below, that you will be able to branch off into different aspects. You'll be able to connect with people if you want to join, like NPO or friends. You'll find people there that can kind of guide you in that direction, get you into a guild or a clan, and allow you to move forward in that respect if that is what you so desire. But the true sponsor of today's video is Beaterus, and this is the last shout that Beaterus created. Again, I think we're well over 25, I believe. I didn't actually get an official count on them, but Beaterus has provided us with a goodly number of updated or brand new shouts. And this one here, the final one, I don't know about best for last, but it's a good card nonetheless. It is an upgrade, or it's a different take on a shout that already exists. It is Unrelenting Force. It still costs 3, just as it does currently. Same artwork, looks fantastic, but it is a different nature. It is this one is on the first level. Target a creature. If it has ward, remove the ward. If it doesn't have ward, unsummon it. Second phase. Target a creature. If it has ward, remove the ward. If it doesn't have the ward, unsummon it, and repeat in the same lane. So you can do 2 cards as long as they're in the same lane. You can unsummon it as long as it doesn't have a ward. And the third version, target a lane. If a creature has a ward, remove the ward. If it doesn't have the ward, unsummon it. But it says targeting a lane. So in theory, it's saying similar to currently what is current Unrelenting Force, unsummon a whole lane. And so that's the thing. Originally, the original Unrelenting Force was power-based. It was, I think the first level is remove a card that has 3 power or less or 2 power or less. The second one is remove a card no matter what power level it's at. And the third one is remove every card in an entire lane. So this is a much different take. And I'm guessing within the context, because Beaterus is really good about incorporating the lore of the game or the functionality in the actual game or in the world of TESL into the shout. So I'm guessing Unrelenting Force does something to wards in particular, because that was actually singled out. So here, there is no power limitation on it. You are either going to remove the ward off a creature or unsummon it regardless, even on the first card. At a 3 cost, still pretty expensive for just being able to do that, but that allows you to build where you can now do that to 2 cards. Removing or unsummoning 2 cards at a 3 cost is pretty good. And removing a ward, essentially not quite as good, but kind of just as important. And I mean, the only catch now is, I guess the only way this is, so I would say in many ways, most ways, this is an upgrade from the last one. In fact, it definitely is, because if I'm not mistaken, the second one allows you to remove any power level, but you can only remove 1. So the first 2 are only removing 1 card each, and the last one is removing all cards. Similar to Drain Vitality, which is do -1/-1 first, and then it's -2/-2, but you're still only doing it to 1 card each, and then you have a much wider spread. This one, it does give up a little bit of edge on the fact that it doesn't remove warded creatures. It just takes the ward off. So those creatures now, not only, I mean, and how many times have you thought, like, you get the Breton Conjurer, how much you would like to have him off the board in general? This card is only going to remove that ward if you're on the 3rd level. If you're on the first or second one, you don't have to actually use it. This one, if he's in the lane, you're going to remove that ward no matter what. So it does take a little bit of a hit in there where it's not unconditional removal. But the first one isn't unconditional removal either, at least on the first level. This one, first, second, and third, it's not unconditional removal. It's removal or unsummoning, provided there is no ward involved. But it does also, so it takes a little bit of a hit there, but it gains quite a bit more of an advantage. The fact that it is on level 2, it's doing it to 2 creatures with no power limit or power requirement, and on the third one, essentially, again, unsummoning. So it's an interesting way to rebalance the card. And not to say the card needed balancing, but it giveth and it taketh away. It in some ways it's much better, and in some ways, depending on what kind of deck you're up against, it could be exponentially worse. So it's just a nice way to examine the card. I'm not entirely sure how. I mean, I think the cost is probably still fine where it's at. I don't know how much the ward removal has an impact on the second level is really the big one. The original and this modification are the same, pretty much, minus the ward part on the third level, which is kind of the big one. That's when things can really go haywire. Both of them just say unsummon a lane. This one has that condition where if they're warded creatures, they'll still stay. They just lose their ward. It's the first and second levels that are, and the first level, I guess, are about the same. So it's level 2 really that we're having a little bit of a disparity in terms of you're allowed to do it to 2 creatures, whereas on the second one, it's unlimited. It's unconditional removal of 1 creature, whereas here you're getting to unconditionally remove 2 or remove the ward off of those creatures. So, and it's provided they're in the same lane. So there are some limitations on it. So I don't know, off the jump, I would say I think this one's probably good as is. I wouldn't mind seeing it rolled out and see if it gets more play than the original. I don't know, if you can let me know. Would you rather see this version or the other version? And because right now it really doesn't get a lot of love. You'll see it on occasion, but it's rare. So anything that increases its playability or likelihood to be played is usually a good thing. And then it just comes down to is it broken? I don't think it is. I think it's fine as it is. I think it's a good alternative to what currently exists. And yeah, I think that's a great way to round off this series with this final shout. Where some we've had where it's like, oh my gosh, that's way too powerful, or okay, well maybe that doesn't really have enough kick. I think we had the one where it was a lot of RNG. That was one of the more recent ones where it's like, okay, you're just as likely to kick your own face in as you are to do any damage to your opponent. So that's you're playing with fire on that one. But then we have ones like this, and I'd say probably the majority were something like this, where we're probably in the ballpark. Maybe adjust the cost a little bit. Maybe one phase of it is a little too powerful. And some may argue that a lot of times by duplicating the effects on multiple creatures, that's what makes it puts it outside the realm of balance. But we have cards like this or versions like this that I think may, with the pros and cons of the new text, may actually make it, hopefully, for a card like Unrelenting Force that doesn't get a lot of love, makes it just good enough to be more to see more play. But in any case, Peters, again, thank you for the series. Thank you for giving us all something to mull over. And from here on out, I'll be kind of just cherry picking different custom cards from the Discord. So if you want to put them in there, I don't have a particular order that I'm going to go in. I'm just going to start trying to find ones that I haven't done yet. And maybe if the artwork grabs me, I don't know. I can try to develop a system, but right now it's just going to be grab one at random, and it will be the sponsor of the videos. But Beaters, thank you for a good run. Thank you all for taking a gander. Now let's get you back to those games. Alrighty, Tiago the Blacksmith. I have to say that because every time I try to say his last name, I forget. He taught me how to say it. I know I don't have to roll the R's, so that's helpful. Ferreira. I can never remember. Luckily, he hasn't quizzed me in a
To
while.
oblivion with you.
Just glad to see some folks. Suddenly we just had an infusion of folks. Oh, there we go. We got Chandler Bings. We got Namira's Shrine. Hey, that's a card you haven't seen in a while. I haven't seen in a while. Namira's Shrine. They used to be kind of a staple. I think it got nerfed, or either that, or if I'm remembering correctly, it was Doomcrag Warrior that utilized that with the Disciple of Namir, I think. So yeah, really. I didn't even notice that. Was it Namira Shrine and Disciple of Namira? Were those the two that were tag team? I never realized that they actually were the same. You know, they were chilling with the same deity there. But things are looking pretty rough for Tiago. Now we do know. Oh, that's a timely. Well, really, yes. Some good cards there. Shadowfen being able to, yeah. Yeah. Good timing there. But Tiago, hey, I'm cutting down on it. I'm cutting down on the uhs and the ums. I do know that he runs one copy of New Era. I don't know about in this deck for sure, but I know in Empire Colors he's willing to run one copy, but not more than one because, as most folks believe, well, one, in theory, it should just be a unique legendary. I mean, a lot of folks think for balancing, it can exist, but there should only be one. Just like there's only one new red year. You know, there's a reason why some of these cards only have one. Although, it is a curious thing why there's only one red year, but there's more than one. You can have 3 Dawn's Wraths. I think maybe it's just the full board clear, which is even more reason why New Era should only be one up. But anyway, but also you don't want to end up, even a 75 card deck, there's a chance you can end up with 2 of those stuck in your hand early on in the game, and you're just totally hosed, especially against any kind of aggro deck. What did you bring back? Okay, he's got 2 New Eras this time. Okay. So Tiago, after I said all of that, after I went on this big monologue, because we talked about this, man. We talked about this. You gave me your philosophy. You gave me all these understandings. And now, after I have said everything, putting my reputation on the line, come to find out he's running 2 copies of it.
All right, men, on me.
Well,
I live awaiting your
isn't that just peak? I would like to see, I mean, I think he's probably going to get nuked here, but I would like to see a General Tullius get all beefy and whatnot. But he's definitely, I mean, Tullius Conscription might help him out a little bit, but I think he's in dire peril at the moment. I mean, Nil 87 starting to run low on cards, but still has the support. Oh, and there goes Tullius. There goes Tullius. I mean, I can't fault him for doing that. I would do the same thing. You don't want Tullius to get too big. It can become a problem very easily. But it doesn't make it any easier when you're watching somebody else. You're like, hey, stop being a jerk. And Giggles breaking a rune just for that one little bit of damage in order to transform that 4/3. And I think we're going to see the conscription here. And no life gain aside from Giggles. Only has 1 Giggles though. And 1 damage short of killing Calgronteed, which would have been a really nice thing to get 8 points of damage off the board. Giggles does give a little bit of drain, but now he's facing 15, 19, 20. Yeah, it's pretty much game over for our good friend Tiago. And oh my gosh. Wow. Call Dragon. Call Dragon. Apparently it was only calling one particular dragon this entire time. That's a fortuitous. Punish. Or, not punish, but fortuitous lethal there. So that may have actually just saved the game for Tiago. This is why you always let it go to the very end. You never know. Plays Vidushin. That does empty out Nil 87's hand. Now the question is, how many dragons does he have? Because if he has 4 dragons, then he's going to be able to fill the board even with an empty hand. If not, it looks like Tiago is going to stabilize here. He's got the Chandler. There's really no way to buff him up to make give him. But I mean, 4 points of health is 4 points of health. Ain't no bad thing. And if he does use a Javelin or the Divine Fervor this turn, Giggles is going to give him an extra 2. So that oh jeez, I did it again. That prophecy mattered quite a bit. 5th Legion will now be able to survive this encounter. And Giggles will heal for 2. And we may see a concession from Nil 87. Unless those supports are going to spit out some dragons for him. I mean, runs Call of Dragon, so you'd imagine he's got... And we've seen a couple dragons, but not enough for me to think it's an all-out dragon deck. It's going to be interesting. We'll see. Really, really wishing that Blood Pact Messenger, where I got Oath from. No, not Giggles! Not Giggles! Giggles! No! She's still laughing, though. She's still laughing. She's still happy. You can't hear her because she's been silenced, but she's laughing. And Tiago's now really, you can just feel the energy. You can feel him surging with power. And there's that. Yep. Now that's the heal. And I think Nil 87. Yeah, just I don't remember exactly if he had lethal for sure on that last when he made that assault and it was thwarted by the javelin, or if he was going to come up a little bit short. I think he did have it. And that just goes to show you got to have a little bit more gas in the tank. If you're gonna make that final push, you want to have at least be able to survive one prophecy, whether it's a removal or a guard or something. You want to have a little bit extra, unless you're up against a deck that no matter what prophecies they get, it's not going to really stop you. But there are few decks that have that. But I imagine we will see Tiago closing this up pretty quick. Never saw a new year, a new era. And Giggles with the heals. And Tiago still with 2 runes remaining, so it's not even like that. Sometimes it's really a travesty when if you as the player are able to get your opponent, like, they have no runes left, which means you got them under 5 and they're healed up back to 30. Not only does it suck they've healed that much, but also because you don't have to worry about prophecies or anything. Like, a lot of the mechanics that would slow you down, they're removed. All you need to do is get in and get faced, but it just...
Today you breathe your last.
Okay, so a little bit of a taunt there.
Today,
I mean, to be fair, we are kind of dancing around it a little, I would say. But let's see, that's 9 plus 3 is 12, 14, 16. There's that new era, at least one of them. One of 2, apparently. Should not be a factor in this game. And I'm guessing Nil 87, and I'm just now noticing. There we go. Tiago, even without lethal, just saying, okay, let's go ahead and end this. He's got enough removal. He doesn't really have to worry about it. Those could be pretty devastating if he brings back... Oh, he does not? Okay, and that's it. There we go. So, a relatively clean game. I understand from Nil 87's perspective, you get that close and you get smitten by a prophecy, but that's why they're there. I was just saying how you only run 1 copy. GG, though. Clutch prophecy and patience paid off. Alrighty. Let's see what we've got next. And we get to join Ugnip for the final game of this episode. And we're always pulling for our friends to win, but even more so in this particular case, as we see, despite a little bit of spiciness with the Giants camp, something you don't typically see in Invade. It is still Invade. So, Ellie Jaxo? I only have one copy. I just wanted to know. Okay. So, Tiago, Colin. Oh my gosh. We hate the raiding party. We hate the raiding party. It's not a party when it's a raiding party. So, Tiago was just messing with us. Well, messing with me in particular, but messing with us in general. He only had the one copy of New Era. I thought it was a little out of character. But I'm not going to call someone a liar. Often.
Right, all that is needed.
watches over me.
So I'm getting taunted a bit from Eli, or L.E. I'm not Jaxo. Withered Hand really putting the kibosh on Eli's shenanigans. And we do see, Loyal House Carl, Golden Initiate, and Protector of the Innocent. This is a deck that is not short on prophecies. And Ugnip doing what you gotta do, which is starve, invade out of cards, and don't smite until you have the power to smite into the ground forever. I don't like that guy either. Of course I don't like him. He's Invade. Why would I like Invade? So he might want to push a little damage to get his Rift Thane into... Ooh, that's a good card. Unfortunately, he's being kind of hamstrung by his own... I go with the Uz again. Hamstrung by his own Withered Hand, and I think... There we go, yep. Not really a Grievous Error. That was intentioned. He's not going to give you a ton of cards. He just wanted to make sure that his 4-2 would have some more bite. Does he have lethal here? 19, 20... Yeah, he's got it. Would I approve of an Invade Telvanni deck? I don't know. And Eli cannot handle... can't wait for the last blow to fall, and so Ugnip takes us out on a win. Thank you very much, Ugnip, for making that possible. Gave me a good, a joyful feeling in the depths of my soul. So thank you very much for that.